press conference will not be as long as Victoria's. I will have a lot less to say, I'm sure. Just a great team win. Florida State is a really good team. I thought we came out and played offensively as well as we could, and our defense was terrific. Second half, we struggled a little bit, got into a little bit of foul trouble, but I thought we made plays when we had to. I thought Aaliyah was terrific. It was great having Dorka back and Nika. But this is kind of the story of our season. We got 2 people back yesterday, and then Inesh sprained her ankle yesterday at practice. And then today, Coach isn't feeling well. So it's just something that we're used to at this point, and that we just have to handle. And I'm happy that we were able to have these 2 back in the lineup to be able to handle it. That helped a lot, and it made a big difference.
Players, questions for big players.
Carolina Met Journal Inquirer. Dorka, how does it feel to be back and playing a lot of minutes? How tired are you now?
I'm definitely tired. I was practicing for 1 week, and I missed a lot of playing, but I don't know, kind of like just being back with my teammates and being on the court kind of gave me that adrenaline. I think that kind of pushed me through the hardest times when I was a little tired. But I'm just happy to be back. Hopefully, now that I'm getting more practice time, it's gonna get better in the conditioning part and everything. But it was definitely great to be out there.
Obviously, your wrist is your thumb's a lot different than your wrist. So if your wrist is
I can't hear it. Sorry.
Hello? Hear now?
Yes.
Hello?
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
With your wrist, you had to wait for surgery. And for thumb, just kind of waiting for it to heal, waiting for you to feel better. At what point this week did you really feel like I could play again or ready?
Yeah, it was a little different with obviously this fracture. It was not a displaced fracture, but I had to be very careful, not to hurt it again and, kind of risking it being like displaced and, all the complication that comes with it. So I was just, a fracture heals 4 to 6 weeks. It's still not fully healed. It's still pretty painful, but, I just wanted to make sure, like last week I was planning to play, I was getting ready, but then the first practice game kind of got hit, wasn't able to go through the whole practice. It swelled up, I couldn't put the sling down. So there was a lot of physical barriers that led to, the decision to not play. And now I was able to take some days off with it. I wasn't using it. And it felt so much better this weekend, just kind of going through those practices kind of helped me prepare and be able to play today. And, it's still not perfect, but it's definitely much better than I was like a week ago. And so hopefully that's a trending thing and it's not going to go back where it was and just get better and feel perfectly.
Kind of going off of that, what did kind of that rehab process look like, and how frustrating was that kind of, thinking you were ready to come back and still having to wait a little bit?
Yeah, it was very frustrating for just to, everyone was different. I was always talking to the doctors constantly, meeting up with them every week, kind of going through how they feel. And, I was telling them, I remember when I first broke in, I went to the doctors and they were like, when can I come back? I was like, can I come back in 2 weeks? And, I could see the doctor was kind of like, Dorka, we'll see, everyone is different. But, I just wanted to kind of have that optimistic, positive, just mindset of coming back whenever it's ready. So I was really excited, last week to kind of jump into practice, kind of go through contact, and it just didn't respond well. It swelled up, it was in a lot of pain. So, talking to the doctors, coaches, they were just not ready to go yet.
Nika, the Howard Mandel at the Nets, for you to go from not playing to playing every second of this one, guarding largely their leading scorer and playing the way you play. This is sort of the shorthand of it. Did you know kind of going in that this is what the role would be? And are there things you can even do during the game that you did during the game that kind of keep you fresh, keep you comfortable when you're going from 0 to 60 like this?
I just missed 1 game. It's not like I missed, 6 or 7 like Dorka, so it wasn't that hard for me to come back. The concussion protocol was good. It was all good. I passed all the steps necessary, so I was back in practice Thursday, Friday. So I didn't feel a difference, honestly. It's like I never even was out.
Any other questions for the players?
Nika, can you say what makes Aaliyah so powerful right now and difficult to play against? Like, what do you see in her that's making her so difficult for other people to defend?
Aaliyah, I mean, she was amazing today, but I feel like she's been on that level since we started the season. And seeing her bounce back from last season when she wasn't on the level that she's supposed to be and that she is preparing every day for, I'm super proud of her, and we are all so happy to have her on our team. She's a true leader, and she does the little things and the big things for us. A big energy guy, and I feel like she stepped up big time today for us, and she's the big reason that we won today. She was just all over the place, just like she is all the time. But I feel like her working every day, seeing her work ethic, the way she practices. She's the first one in the gym, so it doesn't surprise me. She's just on that level that she's supposed to be, and that she practices to.
Even though she has a face mask, like she never let that bother her.
Her nose is fine. She's just gonna keep wearing it.
That's the motivation. The mama mentality for sure for her.
You're welcome, Aaliyah. Yeah.
Nika, what was it like having Dorka back on the floor today, and how big of a difference did that make for you guys?
Ooh, it was amazing to have Dorka back. She does so much for us. Having her on the floor just opens up space for everybody because she's so versatile. She can shoot, she can get in there. She's on the off. She had 5 blocks today, so that's all I'm going to say, which is amazing. Such a force on the defensive end, and she's doing all that with her thumb still not fully healed. So having her back is amazing, and I feel like she's also a big reason that we won today.
Nika, Florida State got within 2 possessions a few times there in the fourth quarter, but every single time they did, you guys came back and scored a bucket to keep them kind of at arm's length. What did you think about the way your team kind of bounced back to those and the resiliency?
Yeah, well, we had a 20-point lead at the half. We did at the half, I think. I don't know. I feel like we could have played a much better second half. I feel like we kind of lost ourselves out there, starting with me. I feel like I kind of, lost my focus, lost the control of the team, which is why our offense wasn't working that well. We weren't hitting shots. But I'm very proud of my team and the way, we bounced back from each play and we never gave up. And I'm very proud of my assistant/head coach right here. She's still undefeated, after we heard what happened with coach, it was obviously, we're used to it, but it's still devastating every time we hear some news like that. But I feel like she stepped in big time as always, and we got that win, and now we're on to the next one.
Nika, can you just talk about the stability that Lou provides? I mean, she played most of the fourth quarter with 4 fouls, came up with a couple of big plays, big charge.
Yes. I feel like everybody always talks about Lou's offense, which, is accurate. How much did she score today? 23 points. That's normal. That's obvious for Lou. We always expect that from her. She always sets that standard for herself. But I feel like the first thing I told her in the locker room is, your defense pulled us out today, and her defense was amazing today. And she got the best player out with foul trouble. So I feel like she stepped up big time defense, and she proved that she's not just an offensive player. So having her, giving her the ball when we're secured, she's going to score. She's just that type of player. She's a great vet, and I'm glad to have her on our team.
Anything else? All right, Nika and Dorka, you come down. We have some questions from CD.
Thanks.
Hey, CD, Doug Farmer, AP. Obviously, it's been a huge emotional week for Coach with his mom and everything in the funeral. Was this just a combination of stuff, or is he okay? Is it just an illness? Where does he stand on health right now?
He's okay. I think it's, flu-like symptoms right now and dehydration. But, you can't discount the fact that it's been a heck of a week, both from a playing standpoint and the number of games you've had, and then to go through the emotion of losing his mom. So I'm sure it's a combination of a lot of things, but, he's feeling better, and we're looking forward to seeing him.
Howard and the team.
Coach Howard McDowell, 2 things. One, just in terms of Tanaya Latson, you see her on film, but I'm wondering when you saw her in person today, just what your general impressions of her as a player are.
Of who?
Tanaya Latson, Florida State.
Yeah. Well, we knew coming in, they're just a very aggressive team. They put a lot of points on the board, and we had our hands full, you know, and I think we had to really work hard to even limit the number of shots that she did get, and then having fouls, that kind of helped. But she's only a freshman, right? So she's a tough matchup for us. I thought, you know, in the first half, we probably did a better job. We tried to know where she was at all times and make her make tough shots. But she's got, she can shoot the three, she has a pull-up, and she can get to the rim. She can score at all three levels, which makes her very dangerous. Not every player can do that. Usually you can live with one of those shots, and she's good at all three levels. So she's a nightmare matchup. And it takes a team to have to defend her, and that's kind of what we tried to do.
And then just, obviously, people joke about it, but 14-0. I mean, is that something you take any Friday pleasure in? Is it something that you enjoy? I'm just wondering what that number means to you.
I would rather be 0-0, to be honest with you, because every situation has been different. And actually, the first one was a suspension. There was another time when Coach's dad passed away, and so those kinds of games that you have to step in, it comes with a different emotion. In this situation, it happened after, you didn't feel well after shoot around. And so it wasn't like you had a week to prepare or 2 days to prepare. So there's emotion involved. And it's been a draining couple of weeks for us, not only the last week with Coach's personal situation and the games, but with the injuries that we've had to deal with over the last 3 weeks. And I know we're not the only people dealing with injuries, but I would challenge anyone to have to deal with all the injuries that we've had to deal with. It's just draining. But again, our players have they've been very resilient. And, sometimes as a coach, you don't really have time to sit back and go, you have to just look at the next thing. And that's what we've tried to do. Whether it was Dorka out or Nika out, you just have to deal with who you have. Coach wasn't able to be with us today, so we had to, work as a staff. Jamel and Morgan were great on the bench, and work as a staff and give our kids the best chance to win. I'm sure I'm going to hear from him about the giving up the lead and the turnovers, but it'll be nice to hear him complain about that, when I get a chance to talk to him.
ACD, it's T with the Next. How you doing? Looking forward, you have the Big East schedule pretty starting in earnest. Moving forward, it's a deeper conference this year. A lot of really talented teams out there. How have you seen the depth of this year's Big East conference compared to the past 2 years or so since you rejoined the Big East?
How did I see what?
How have you seen the depth of the Big East improve since you joined the conference?
We've had three teams in the top 25 and have played really well. And, it started last year in the NCAA tournament, where we had Creighton and Villanova, and we had people beat teams that no one expected them to beat. So I think it's just a matter of every year getting better, and we're not able to look past anybody. Seton Hall is a really good team. They won, I think, 7 games in a row, 7 in a row. But they're a very good team. They're physical. They've got 2 guards, Park Lane and another guard that's a grad transfer or grad student. It's going to be similar to what we just played. They put a lot of pressure on you because they want to get to the rim, and we've had our hands full with them in the past. So it's going to be a great matchup. And then it doesn't get any easier. We get to go home, and then we come back and play at Creighton, and then Marquette at home. So there are no easy games, and that's a good thing. I think kids come to Connecticut to play in those kinds of games. People, they understand that. I think one of them said the hate is real. So for us, our players understand that when they come to UConn, they have a target on their back, and people love to see us lose. And so we, have to find kids that embrace that, and they can play through it, and we've been able to do that. And that's what we're going to have to do in the next couple games.
Thanks, sir.
Aaliyah had 25 last week, 26 today. What is the biggest growth you've seen in her so far?
Well, I think today I think her ability to score in different ways, being able to, she got triple teamed and found the shooter in the corner. I just think she's making a lot of really good decisions. I think she's drawing a lot of fouls and playing through contact. She's making outside jump shots. She's just doing a little bit of everything, and that's what we need. And she in each game has been able to, whatever we've needed, she's been able to provide. In Maryland, I think she made probably more jump shots than she did today, but she made her free throw. Just a little bit of everything, giving us that presence. And I thought it was big in the first half when we were able to take advantage with having Dorka and Aaliyah in the game at the same time and being able to get a lot of high-low looks and getting some easy buckets as opposed to having to manufacture them and really have to work really, really hard to get them. Dorka and Leah work well together, and that certainly showed today.
CD, down here.
Oh, sorry.
They were able to get back within a few points at the end of the game. Was that more a function of what they did well? Like they adjusted and got more aggressive and more physical, or was it some you guys and some of them?
It was probably a little bit of both. I thought we lost our composure for a little bit. I thought, they always say that your greatest strength is your greatest weakness. And that's probably true with Nika. Like, her greatest strength is how hard she plays and that stubborn mentality, and that's also your greatest weakness when you try to make the same play over and over again and it's just not open, the same pass. So I think turnovers were a problem. And I don't know how many of them were caused by them as much as us throwing it in bad situations, making it worse. Obviously we'll get to watch the film, but I think it was probably a little bit of both. They became a little more aggressive when we took a little step back. So I think it's things that we can get better at and things that we can control. The turnovers, we had less than we did the other day, so I guess that's a positive, but we can't just give them all out. We shoot 50, I don't know what we shot from the floor. Well, the first half it was over 50, but we're shooting almost 50% from the floor. And if we give the ball away 19 times, that's a few more points that we'd be able to put on the board that would give us that gap. So we really need to concentrate on taking care of the basketball, and that it's not anything that we haven't not concentrated on, but it's an important part. You don't want to lose a game because you turn the ball over.
I guess for me, on the defensive end, I feel like you guys played really well today. Could you just talk about how that really mattered for you guys? You had 7 blocks, 12 steals. Even with the turnovers, it didn't seem to compile a lot because of your defensive strategies, especially when you had Caroline, Dorka, and Aaliyah all in that back line for that 2-3 zone. So you could just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we tried to mix it up a little bit defensively, and really, we sometimes have to go with percentages and give up shots to certain people, and we were able to do that today. I thought, for the most part, our defense was really good, and I say that we gave up 77 points. I thought, again, we lost our way a little bit in the second half, and we stopped doing the things that we were really good at, helping off the wrong people. We made an adjustment where we didn't want to help off the shooter in the corner, and then we did it 2 times when we gave up shots. So just being a little bit smarter, but I thought our defense was definitely solid, and we're getting the hang of mixing it up a little bit, and being able to do, score one defense after a score, and play man, play zone, and that's something I think we have to continue to do if we're going to have success. But we rebounded, I thought, pretty well out of it. So.
Hey, CD, if this is basically the baseline of where Dorka will be at and she makes her way back, what impressed you the most about how she approached today, and where is she going to help the team overall the most as she gets more and more comfortable back out there physically?
Well, I think having her in practice, and she was in practice some, and trying to get back, and she was working on her conditioning. I think the conditioning piece is probably the biggest part, because I thought we got tired at the end. I thought Aaliyah and Dorka were tired toward the end. So the conditioning piece is going to be part of it. I probably could have used one of the timeouts to give them a breather. I probably could have put Ayana in a little bit more, but there are things that I think that's probably the biggest thing for Dorka at this point. She's shooting the ball really, really well because when she was out, she was able to shoot, and not, it's her left hand, so she was able to get a lot of shots up. So I think she's shooting the ball with a lot of confidence, and I just think it's a matter of her. We would never have her play if she wasn't able, and if she was going to ever injure her thumb more. That would never be an option here with our medical staff or with our coaching staff. So it's a matter of her feeling and getting back and using both hands. And I didn't see her be tentative today with that. So I think it's only going to help us against Seton Hall and then giving her more confidence as we move forward.